Hit the recording button, and there we go. Alright, so here we are in game number 2 now, guys. We have Team DivA taking on Team DOGKaiser. Of course, Team DivA currently up 1-0. As you can see, picks are happening here. But before we get into that, just too much, I'm going to be joined by Ziori and Phil the Thrill. You guys ready for game number 2? Were you watching that first game, Phil?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I watched it for a little bit on stream, and then I realized that they've implemented the new feature where staff accounts can just join a game, like any game, and spectate it with actual full spectator access. So I logged in on my SBT account and started watching the game myself.
Well, there you go. All right. So, what'd you think of it? I mean, have you played it much yourself?
I've played only the actual Midwars map, probably only like 2 or 3 times. But as far as actually playing Midwars, I play quite a bit of it. I hang out with like Catsy and them, and they're always doing like the clan Midwars stuff. So I've done it a few times. It's a pretty good time. A lot of things that you could tell. Not anything against you guys, because it's like casting a casual mode. Like you just don't know what to expect unless you have fully experienced it. But like one of the things that people weren't really talking about is like the importance of initiation and chip damage early on. I mean, those are things that are really important. I mean, the early game is just as important as the late game in Midwars. It's about establishing basically like an 8 to 10 hero kill lead early on. And after that point, then you can really take over. Item pickups are extremely important. I know you guys brought up like the power supply. You'll probably look and notice that almost every single person, except for the person who has the Ring of the Teacher, already has a mana battery or full out power supply. So,
yep.
I mean, it's just incredibly important, especially against heroes like Thunderbringer, Aluna, who constantly spamming those spells. But yeah, I mean, some heroes are definitely more powerful than other heroes in Midwars. Artillery, the reason he was banned in that first game is, first of all, WZA plays Artillery a lot in these SBT Midwars games, but he's got extremely long range when you put the little circle down. I forget exactly what the spell is called, Bunker Down. But when you use that, that and LRM are extremely powerful early on in the game. They make for excellent harass, and if you have stuns to line up, they're really, really powerful. I'm really surprised that they're going with another hard carry over here on the Hellborn team, by the way, with Nighthound, as far as like a melee hard carry. Typically, those heroes are kind of shied away from, Dark Lady and Kronos,
yep.
and those kind of heroes are not usually picked up very often, unless it's like a fun, like, all-mid Nighthound type thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're bringing up the first game, too. It kind of seems like those melee carries. That's what we saw last game with Kronos, and as you mentioned, this game with Nighthound. Definitely not the most friendly mode for them, that's for sure. So, but by the way, I do want to bring up the bans that happened, and as you see right here, so it was Flint Beastwood, Devour, and Behemoth for the Legion team, and then Devour, Alonia, and Draconis for the Hellborn team. So Draconis, of course, they and Team DOGKaiser over there, they did not want to have Pandaruhu have another Draconis performance like he had last game, so decided to ban him. And again, how that banning works, if you didn't join us for the first one, each team gets 3 blind bans that they have, I think it's 10 seconds to do or 15 seconds to do. And they blind ban, meaning the other team, of course, can't see who you're banning. And then once those 3 bans are out or the time runs out, they show up. If you happen to ban the same hero, so be it. So in this case, obviously, Devour banned by both teams. He was banned, so only 5 bans total instead of the 6. And then it's old pick mode after that. I mean, you just pick whichever heroes obviously you want and have to click it faster than the other team. So that's kind of just a rundown again of how that banning and picking stage works here in the Midwars matchup. But yeah, the Legion team, on the other hand, they didn't go with that melee carry, as you were talking about in the Nighthound. But the thing that stands out to me about Nighthound, though, that smoke cloud does seem it could actually be pretty damn powerful, especially if he levels it up. I mean, the radius on it can get pretty extreme. Not exactly sure. It is a, it doesn't say actually. It's 325, yeah, 325. Not bad for a game mode where you obviously you're a lot of clumping up going on, so.
Yeah, again, though, you're relying on using pounce to get in there to initiate, and when you're talking about Midwars, yes, everybody's clumped up, but that means everybody is constantly looking to react to those types of things, especially with heroes like Witch Slayer, Aluna. Those heroes are really, really good at responding last second to initiation. And the other thing is that Nighthound is not like Scout, where if you counter his invisibility, like Scout, he still has tools like the, he still got Disarm, he still has, obviously, the additional move speed he gets from being invisible. Nighthound, using, like, Words of Revelation, is really going to hinder, like, his ability to play aggressively once he is level 6, or once he decides to pick up that invisibility.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very true. And of course, again, where you only have that one lane option and so you're limited in terms of the space to work with, Word of Revelations will definitely be powerful against him if he gets that ultimate, of course. Well, not really if, I'm sure he will, but still. That'll be annoying to deal with, so.
And, ooh, Pandaruha, I'm still, with the hero I'm hung up on is the Hellbringer pick. I mean, obviously the ultimate is a huge AoE stun, but not the longest duration. I mean, maybe Phil, any thoughts about why Hellbringer is going to be powerful?
Well, I was talking about the early chip damage and having the Death Foil, maxing that early on, as well as the Life Void. Life Void has a pretty decent radius as far as where it can be cast upon. So if you can get a couple people in there, along with like a level 3 Death Foil at level 5, I mean that's really, really strong. It's a lot of early damage, and because everybody is basically going to be around the same level, you're talking about being able to take. That's why Thunderbringer is so deadly. Is because once you get that level 3 Blast of Lightning, I mean you're literally doing like half-life damage to some of these heroes because you're just not able to get that really super early farm. So yeah, I mean that's basically why I can see the behind Hellbringer, and plus he doesn't like scale, but he can do like with the right items just like anybody else. I mean he can be very, very dangerous to have to go up against, and of course the ultimate is going to be useful.
Yeah. I mean, maybe also the ultimate is sort of killing two birds with one stone type thing, setting up the stun and damage, but also having that pushing power. I mean, Malphas is a huge pushing tool, so as we saw in that last game, pushing is quite important.
So was Accursed. Idra once again playing Accursed. I mean, he was definitely a big part to their team's success for Team DivA. Of course, he was just babysitting that Draconis and really kept him alive throughout it all. And, I brought up, why do you think we're not seeing Jeraziah then? If Accursed is so powerful, why not Jeraziah?
Well, we took I went to lunch with DivA's team yesterday when they were talking about about which heroes to pick, and they were actually talking about Jeraziah, and I said, well, why don't you guys think about maybe Accursed instead? The thing is, like, Jeraziah has benefits in the fact that you have a great heal and you have the Protective Charm, which avoiding stuns is extremely important all mid. But at the same time, you get much more return damage and in a larger AoE from Accursed with the Fire Shield, and you can always dispel stuns and stuff like that with Fire Shield as well. Plus, his survivability is extremely high. It's more single target than it is like with Jeraziah, where obviously Soul's Blessing is extremely important. But, oh wow, really, really nice kill early on as we start to get really aggressive. And Emerald Warden looks like she'll be able to be fine. So, see that Smoke Cloud coming into effect, but not really doing too much against a hero like Thunderbringer.
Well, Nighthound, as you made a point of, though, because he had a Smoke Cloud out, he was in the front lines, and he ended up getting turned around on being so far up there. So, good job by the Legion team. Obviously, DivA, on Team DivA, of course, the captain of it, was able to stay alive. And again, some great heals coming up from Curse of the last second, but Hellbringer will not be able to survive as the LRM right there from Artillery coming out and doing overwhelming damage in that lined area. So, Artillery banned the first game, picked up this game, and as you mentioned, there's a reason why for that. What a line stun right there from which they're coming with the Graveyard, setting up a kill on his Xanderkey. They're diving into the jungle all the way over here to get that kill, but hey, they get it, so we're tied at 2 hero kills apiece now.
Yeah, so Phil, talk to us a little bit about the Transmutanstein and Zorgoth. Can we expect either of these teams to actually attempt them to pick up the token? I mean, is there ever an opportunity for that to happen?
There is, but it's only after basically the second tier tower is down. I mean, the rewards for doing Transmutanstein and Zorgoth just are not high enough early on. However, later on, if you're stuck in a point where you're just unable to push, they can often be the kind of the deciding factor for winning it. It's just that there's not enough benefits to like attempting like an early Transmutanstein or Zorgoth. So you'll typically see it if the game goes longer than expected, and one team just really needs an advantage to get that final little boost.
Yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, because in that last game, I mean, he's just really used as a portal back to the well more so than anything else.
Why would they? Why did they go with the? I don't know if you would know, but why did they go with the Watchtower items for Transmutanstein and Zorgoth over a Token of Life? Is there?
Well, it's more team oriented. I mean, like having a Token of Life is great if you're that one person, but it doesn't really offer an extended benefit for people who are already on a way reduced cooldown as far as life spans. Like, like, okay, I can respond 15 seconds faster than I normally would. I mean, what does that really do?
Yeah.
I mean, but a team-based item where you grant your entire team visibility or the ability to see, with clear vision, that can be extremely effective, as Nighthound goes in once again. But, like, yeah, man, a Curse is just doing such a great job. Idager really playing very well this past 2 games.
Yeah, he's spot on with those heals. And again, when you look at Nighthound's build, he is 2-2-0 right now, so not going any backstabs. DJ, a solid player indeed, but again, because of the circumstances, not going that backstab, but perfect example right there. He jumps in, and everyone just goes on top of him, even with the smoke cloud down. The Rangers just like laughing at that, and they just do enough damage to get him killed, obviously. So, Nighthound proving to be a risky pick at that, and well, so far earlier on, it doesn't seem like he's having the biggest impact for Team DOGKaiser, like I'm guessing they were kind of hoping for here in this case. So Luna also taking a lot of pressure. As you see, Hammerstorm chasing, being put by Muffins, but there comes the smoke cloud out, and the Hex going to be using power throw on top of the Hammerstorm, finding himself in a very difficult spot now. Getting that power supply, though, going to be able to use the charges, and now running around in circles. This is taking some time away from the Hellborn teams in terms of sitting in that middle lane, maybe getting some farm, as Admiral Warner going to come over and going to assist him. So well played, some good teamwork coming out there, as the hero could advantage in favor of the Legion team. Another question that we actually had from last game too, though, Phil, again, if you would know, is that these melee and ranged racks, is there a point to kill them? Will they do the same thing as they do in Force of Caldivar?
You know, I don't know because I've never seen them killed.
Okay.
Like, typically, people just go straight for the, I mean, based on where the World Tree or Sacrificial Shrine actually is, they're so far up that there's really no point in going for those. But, I mean, I would imagine that, you could go back there and kill those and probably get an additional buff, but I don't know what additional good that would really do, considering if you have it pushed that far up. Wow, lots of action going in the middle lane, and Hammerstorm picking up, or helping to pick up a couple of kills right there. That AoE stun from Hammerstorm is so good early on.
Yeah, he's...
Definitely. We've seen Hammerstorm in both games, and we see a Curse finally taken out. That will be the end of the undefeated streak for Idager in this game. Still, as we've mentioned, I think a Cursed is, maybe even the MVP. I mean, mixing those single target heals with the power supplies just seems to be the way to go. Just Xander getting a little bit of trouble here. Nighthound in the front line is going to throw that silence. Can Artillery get the kill? And he does. Dangerous Dan on that Artillery, doing some pretty serious work here. Phil was talking about that chip damage, and that seems to be what Artillery is all about. Malfast is going to get dropped, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to pick up a kill. Witch Slayer dangerously low, but Pandaruhu here just going to go for some additional farm.
Yeah, well, something we talked about earlier on as well, with this Nighthound especially, is by the way, the Wolves chasing Artillery right there. Not going to be enough for a kill, but he is level 6 now, so obviously having that invis, so I wonder if our Team DivA is going to start, keeping that in mind. In fact, and right away, we see Pandaruhu place a Ward of Revelation down, so sure enough, they were very ready for that as they get the rev down. So Nighthound being invisible, not even necessarily going to do anything for him here. So that's actually what made me curious too, if he was even going to bother leveling up his ultimate, knowing that this was more than likely going to be the case. But wow, a Slayer just purchased by Artillery right there. So he is he's going all out right off the bat. Thunderbringer ultimate going to be used right there. Not a lot of people low, actually. No kills happening from it, though. As we see Hammerstorm, they're going down. Look at that alarm coming out from Artillery. Turning around on Hammerstorm. Thunderbringer also going to fall. Artillery doing so much damage right now. And now Emerald Warden in a lot of trouble. Again, a Curse is there for some heals, but it's not going to be enough. He will go down, and a Curse more than likely will fall on top of his. Nice job using the R, though, keeping himself alive for now, but it's not going to last long. What fight back there from S2 DOGKaiser's team. Almost called it S2 Games. Wow. I mean, Artillery getting that at Slayer, and all of a sudden comes back and goes all crazy.
Yeah, it was all crazy. 8-14 now, and like you said, DOGKaiser's team just looking really good. Mixing that Oluna with the Artillery, just doing a hell of a lot of damage. Looks like Xander K is going to get caught out, and he's going to fall. So now this lead for DOGKaiser's team is continuing to grow. I mean, look at the GPM chart. Artillery up at 530.
Look at the damage chart. Oh, well, he's tied with Thunderbringer. I thought I'd been higher, but still, he's up there. Yeah. This is Dangerous Dan doing work here on Artillery, and definitely showing why perhaps he was banned that first game.
Yeah.
Well, Artillery is extremely strong. Like I said, I know WZA plays him a lot, but Dangerous Dan is probably the only player who I constantly see play him in pub games. So I know he's really comfortable with the hero and has an excellent understanding of how to control the LRM. And he's just been doing a really nice job. However, his team's been doing a really great job of helping him maintain vision. That way, he can really get on there. You see a little counter warding going on. This Ward of Revelation, trying to buy Nighthound. Perhaps a little more wiggle room. But, there's going to be wards all over this place here coming up pretty soon. So, and I mean, a Bound Eye definitely you know, could be picked up at another point. So we'll see what happens as far as that's concerned. But yeah, I mean that shift damage that we talked about, that's so important, especially when you have heroes like Artillery and Aluna on the same team, both which have exquisite range with low cooldown abilities, and both do pretty decent damage early on. I mean, that really sets teams up for that early damage. You see Hammerstorm once again in a lot of trouble. Nighthound's going to come in and be able to take him out as well, taking a little bit of damage from the wolves from Hunter's Command, but other than that, you see Malphite just kind of hanging around. So while Hellbringer does offer quite a bit with that Death Foil, the ultimate not really a reliable tool. I mean, it's on such a long cooldown. Although you do see that he's picked up a Codex here, now just level 1. I'm really surprised. Speaking of Codex, that Thunderbringer decided to pick up the Ring of Sorcery before a Codex. I think Codex is extremely powerful on Thunderbringer early on. When you talk about the amount of damage you can do with Blast of Lightning and Codex,
yeah.
It's a really good.
Well, we actually saw it last game on Xander K, I believe, playing the Thunderbringer last game, and that's definitely what he went for first. So, by the way, though, look at this experience for a minute. And it's right now 21-9 in favor of the Hellborn team, but Team DOGKaiser right now just completely dominating Team DivA. This is different than the first game. The first game, very even earlier on, and then finally Draconis, of course, started to get built up, and then they finally were able to push from that. But we're 13.5 minutes in. It already seems like Team DOGKaiser, it's going to be difficult to lose this lead that they have. I mean, a Savage Mace already finished on Artillery right there.
Yeah, I mean, you're definitely right. I mean, this is looking like a game where maybe a concede will be in order before pushing, and I don't know if that is even really viable given how little time it takes to push. But yeah, a completely different match, and sort of still fascinating how Midwars games vary from match to match. As we see Xander K just getting annihilated. Oh man, this Artillery is out of control.
Yes. By the way, it is 1-0 in favor of Team DivA. Of course, the Legion team right now here in this best of 3. So of course, DOGKaiser wins it. That means we would be going to that third and final game. But yeah, Nighthound, we talked about all the theory crafts and everything, and I think it definitely still stands true, but at the same time, his team has just done so well, and he's been able to get the higher level advantage and some good farm out of it because of that. And you see right now, he's actually on his way to Nullfire Blade. He currently has a double damage right now. Going to jump in right there, but Hellbringer will be fun. But again, the LRM coming out from Artillery snipes Hellbringer across the river right there. Pandaruhu not able to do anything. So I'm looking at this Legion side. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they really have a whole lot that's going to be able to contend with the start that Team DOGKaiser has over here at this point.
Well, like I said, it's all about getting that early advantage in hero kills, and DOGKaiser's team certainly does have that. However, I would be very cautious to count DivA's team out, simply because I personally think that Emerald Warden is probably the third best late game hero in Midwars. The first being Dr. Repulsor, second being Flint Beastwood. But Emerald Warden can be extremely effective late game with the additional range that she has if she can get that farm. But it's just going to be like getting to the place where she's able to pick it up.
Yeah. By the way, that actually brings up a good notice. Again, we see more onslaught coming on here from Team DOGKaiser, just really pressuring out that Silver Bullet to finish off Hammerstorm. Kind of unnecessary, to be honest, from DOGKaiser. More of a kill still, really. But hey, they got the kill. A curse goes down as well. And now DivA on that Emerald Warden. Played it the first game, did very well. This game, though, not really the same story. Team DOGKaiser, no doubt, big advantage. But I wanted to bring up, you mentioned Dr. Repulsor there. People might notice that he wasn't banned or picked. He was actually Gentleman's banned. That goes to, that gives you an idea of maybe how powerful he is considered here in this Midwars. He was Gentleman's banned by both teams going into this competition. So that's why we did not see him here either banned or picked, of course. So just to bring that up. But something I referred to last game as well, Phil, and I'm curious what you think about this, is, it seems like aura-style items, really team-oriented items. Obviously, your Ring of Sorcery, your Astral Lab have been powerful pickups these first couple of games, but I don't think we've seen an Abyssal Skull the first game, and yet to see one this game. Seems like Abyssal Skull would be pretty powerful in this mode.
But I mean, you would definitely think that. I don't know that I've really seen one to say like how powerful it actually is. Astrolabe is pretty good, but Ring of Sorcery is really powerful in this mode because there's no like cooldown saying that you can't use it. More than X amount of times per second or whatever, like there is with Astrolabe. So I don't know. AoE items are extremely good. Gnome's Wisdom is really good if you can get it early enough, but nobody really picks it up, or nobody has, I should say, been picking it up.
We want damage.
Yeah, we want damage. We can see. I mean, as you put it, Bricky, the onslaught just continues. 36-13, now 20k gold experience ahead. The mid tower is actually going to get denied here by Idager, but oh man, things looking a little bit grim for our Legion side. They did pick up a kill on the Burrow, so Pandaruhu will at least pick up one kill here on that Hellbringer. Let's take a look at the farm of Emerald Warden. 2,400 gold, so perhaps some more Warden make an executive item pickup here pretty soon.
Again, you don't lose gold if you die, so that kind of to kind of maybe answers the question that people might have, like, how do they still have so much gold after they're dying so much? Of course, so you don't lose any gold if you die. But yeah, artillery. I mean, what is he buying?
700
by the way?
GPM.
What did he buy? He bought a nullstone. Is that his? I think it is. It is being delivered to him, it looks like. So yeah, he has a nullstone now as well. And as you said, 706 gold per minute. Again, haven't watched too many Midwars games. So I don't know how rare this is. Something tells me it's not.
Very.
Yeah, I was gonna say. 18 minutes.
No, I mean you'll get to points by the end of the game where. Well, I don't know if it'll happen like this in this Midwars, but in regular Midwars, like before the map existed, when it was instant respawn, you would typically have at least 1 or 2 people in the 1,000 gold per minute range.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
So.
That is just absurd, seeing in 4 digits. But yeah, again, that's why you really have to have an open mind about a map like this, because the last thing you want to do is be like, why do they have a hero? You know, like I noticed that we mentioned Dr. Pulsar, not OPs in this mode. People are like, what? Dr. Pulsar really isn't that powerful. You can't think of it in the Force of Katamar. You can't think of it in the typical 5 versus 5 what we're used to playing map. You have to think of it in that mid-war setting and really put it together and realize why, okay, that actually does make sense, that's why he is actually so powerful. And you know, it truly is, it's not just a different map, it truly is a different game mode. And it will encourage different style of play, different heroes to be used, and even different items, as we've kind of been going over. So that's what really makes this Midwars map so great, and why everyone here at SU Games is genuinely excited about it. So.
No, I think you're right. I mean, it is really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing it in matchmaking and you know, playing it for. I mean, I'm still yet to play it. This is actually my first time seeing it, but it is. It's been a blast to watch so far. It's even more fun to play. We see the onslaught continues though. Dangerous Dan picking up a double tap. That artillery now 13-0 and 27 as that second tower falls. Of course, the World Tree now exposed. The bloodbath also for Aluna, who is sitting 12-0 and 23. So. Looking pretty damn good for DOGKaiser's team here.
GG's being called. It looks like that is going to officially do it. Team DOGKaiser will be taking the second game here. And as a result, guys, that means we are going to be going to a third and final game. Everyone that
Dan goes immortal.
But oh, did he just hit it? Yeah, he did. What's his GPM finishing at? 811. That is just absurd once again. But Team DOGKaiser, indeed, they will be taking game number 2 here. So we are tied at 1 game apiece. And again, obviously, there was the poll that will open. It's closed now, but you've got the chance to vote before for this Midwars competition. The winner, if you voted for the winner, you get those 200 silver coins in your bank. So, obviously, I'm sure we have fans rooting for both sides. You can definitely tell them in the chat, and Team DOGKaiser pretty happy after that one. But it's exciting because that means, obviously, we're going to be going to a third and final game here now. Whew. That was intense, man. What was that, like? They had 50 kills or something like that in, what, 20 minutes?
Yeah,
that's Midwars for you.
No, like you said, a much different pace from that first game, much more action-packed. And that second game, a little bit more what I picture in my head when I think of Midwars. You know, something a little more of that intense. Certainly not quite so one-sided, but definitely all about that momentum. You know, as a team, the Hellborn side kind of started to snowball. Once they got those first couple kills, once artillery got that Slayer, that's really when things started going downhill.
Yeah. I mean, now looking at the Midwars map, or the Midwars after game stats, you'll actually notice that they're a lot different. You know, you didn't really hit on it too much during the last.
I didn't know if I was supposed to.
Wait, how do you get to that? I don't have that.
You
I
don't
can see
have
it on
that?
the stream.
Really? It just popped up for me after. So.
Right. So, you'll notice that like if you go like it takes away all the stuff. Like there's no more seeing how many kills and how many deaths and stuff like that. It's just about like what items you ended up with, and then there's actually these little icons underneath where the items are. I think they're called achievements.
Ooh, how about that?
No, they're actually match awards. I think that's what they're actually called. But like you can scroll over them and they'll tell you like scroll over
use
which
the
layers
least consumables, miser.
Like on like the right-handed one or whatever. Like on the coffee one, that's like it's called caffeinated. It's the most APM and stuff like that. So it doesn't like give you anything additional. It's just kind of like a cool little thing that says, you know, hey, I did this and this is. Know how the game went.
The hero Neuwirth deserves. Classic. Yeah, so this is just for Midwars, right? This isn't...
Right.
Okay,
Right.
yeah.
It's just for
Sorry about
Midwars.
that,
It's
yeah.
not for anything else.
At the least hero assist, although it's neighborly. That is pretty clever. These are pretty fun. Sweet. Double or nothing. Score the most double taps. Anyway, so yeah, this is something to look forward to as well, of course. Again, coming out Friday, guys. Next Friday. Here in Heroes of New Earth, Midwars. But that, as I said, though, we still got our third and final game, though, coming up now, guys. With that said, going to take one more break here. Hopefully not too long, and then we'll be coming back with that third and final game. So sit tight, guys. We got Team DOGKaiser versus Team DivA coming up. Game number 3. Who will take it all? Stay tuned. We'll find out shortly.